देवे गौरवाणी विचारी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारी श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम. So here we are in our book reading. Life comes from life, the second morning walk. So any volunteers who would like to start the reading? Dipali, you can start from here. Dr. Singh.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dr. Singh, they do not think before they speak. Srila Prabhupada. That means that they are not human beings. A human being thinks twice before saying anything. Krishna makes the presence of life within the body so easy to understand. He says, Dehino saman yatha dehe kaumaram yahunam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhirasa tatra na myuhatyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Bhagavad Gita 2.13. In these two lines, Krishna solves the whole biological problem. That is knowledge. Minimum words, maximum solutions. Volumes of the books expounding nonsense have no meaning. Materialistic scientists are like a croaking frogs. Ka, 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 ka. Srila Prabhupada imitates the sound of croaking frog and the others laugh. The frogs are thinking, oh, we are talking very nicely. But the result is that the snake finds them and says, oh, here is a nice frog. Srila Prabhupada imitates the sound of a snake eating a frog. Pup, pup, finished. When death comes, everything is finished. The materialistic scientists are croaking, cow, cow, cow. But when the death comes, their scientific industry is finished and they become dogs, cats, or something like that.
Srila Prabhupada is continuing talking about the scientists. And here, when Dr. Singh says that they do not think before they speak, and then Srila Prabhupada is giving the example or an example of a frog or a toad. And he's telling that the toad croaks, and because of that, the snake gets to know where is the toad and he comes and he eats up. So actually, unnecessary talking becomes the reason of the death of that frog. If he would not have spoken like that or croaked like that, the snake would not know. So he is inviting his own death. So he's telling that similarly, these scientists, they unnecessarily they speak, and then he's saying when death comes, everything is finished. The materialistic scientists are croaking, but when death comes, their scientific industry is finished. And they have no idea that in the next birth, they may become dog or cat or something like that. So here, Srila Prabhupada has also quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita 2:30, Dehinosman Yatha Dehe, that how the body is a covering. We are embodied, we are inside that body. And the body is continuously changing from boyhood to youth to old age. And the soul is staying there, and at the time of death, it leaves the body and goes to the next body. But unfortunately, the scientists are unaware of all this. Continue.
The third morning walk, recorded on April 28, 1973. Okay, Los Angeles, the Chevert Hill Park. Srila Prabhupada is accompanied by Dr. Singh, Karandhara Das, and other students. Scientists as thieves. Srila Prabhupada, holding a rose in his hand. Can any scientist create a flower like this in the laboratory? Dr. Singh, that is not possible. Srila Prabhupada, no, it is not. Just see how wonderfully Krishna's energy is working. No scientist can create a flower like this in the laboratory. They cannot create even a few grains of sand, yet they claim to possess the most advanced intellect in the universe. This is foolish, Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh, they take matter from Krishna, manipulate it, and then claim it. They have created something wonderful. Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, at least if they would admit that they have taken the matter from Krishna, that would be good. We understand that everything comes from Krishna. Dr. Singh, but they will not admit that they are taking anything from Krishna. Instead, they say that they are the creators. Srila Prabhupada. How have they created anything? They take the sand and mix it with some chemicals and make glass. They have not created the sand or the chemicals. They have taken them from the earth. Have they created anything? Dr. Singh.
So here we see that Srila Prabhupada is showing a rose and he's telling that can scientists create like that? And then he's telling that whatever actually scientists they create also, the raw material, the ingredient for that creation, for that innovation has actually supplied to them by Krishna only. And Prabhupada is telling, and the scientists, they do not even give that much credit to Krishna. I mean, forget about telling that Krishna is the creator of everything. They do not even give the credit for that partial things which they are picking up from Krishna. And that is how he is giving this example. And he gives another example of how they create the glass by mixing sand and some chemicals. And for that also, they are not giving any credit. This Arun Prabhu will read next.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yeah, sure. Dr. Singh, they say we have taken the materials from nature. Srila Prabhupada, from nature means from a person. They have taken from nature, but they are thieves because everything in nature belongs to Krishna. Ishavasyam idam sarvam, everything is God's creation. Ishopanishad 1. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states that if one does not perform yajna, he's a thief. Yajna means acknowledging that things have been taken from Krishna. We should think, Krishna, you have given us many, many things for our maintenance. This much acknowledgement Krishna wants. That's all. Otherwise, what can he expect from you? What are you in his presence? We should acknowledge Krishna's kindness. Therefore, before we eat, we offer the food to Krishna and say, Krishna, you have given us this nice food. So first you taste it, then we eat it. Krishna is not hungry, yet he can eat the whole world and then again produce it exactly as it was. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shri Ishopanishad invocation. Krishna is so perfect that if you take from Krishna all of Krishna's energy, all the original energy is still with him. That is perfect conservation of energy.
So now here we see that Prabhupada is quoting about this Ishavasya principle, that everything in God creation, it is provided by Krishna only. And then Prabhupada is giving an example that if we are eating, so it is expected that we make that acknowledgement. So when we talk about offering food to Krishna, so it is not that Krishna is hungry. It is not that Krishna is lacking anything in Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan that he wants to come to our home and eat. It is an act of gratitude that we are expressing because we acknowledge Krishna's presence in our life, his role in our life, as how he's the one who's providing and maintaining all of us. So that little bit tiny thing. Otherwise, it is like we can understand this with an example. If you had a very heavy meal, you ate all your favorite food items, and then after that, you are going to somebody's house. And if that other person is offering you, please eat something, okay, can I get you this or that? He's offering you various things, but you feel so full, completely satisfied, you just don't want to eat anything. And yet, sometimes you may take a little bit of something. Why? Because you want to honor that person, because that person is requesting so much out of love that you are accepting that. So it is not that you are hungry and that is why you are eating, but because you want to accept the love of that person. So same goes for Krishna. Krishna is Atmaram. He is always satisfied. So we like how we eat and we become full. So Krishna is always full, but he accepts something from us because he wants to take our devotion and love from that. So that is how Krishna is complete, absolutely complete, and yet he accepts certain things. Continue.
The origin of nature. Dr. Singh, there is a scientific journal called Nature. It contains articles concerning natural products like plants, flowers, and minerals, but it does not mention God. Srila Prabhupada, we may rightly observe that plants are being produced by nature, but the next question we must ask is who has produced nature? To ask this is real intelligence. Dr. Singh, they don't generally think about this. Srila Prabhupada, then they are foolish. Where does nature come from? As soon as we speak of nature, the next question should be whose nature? Is it not so? For instance, I speak of my nature and you speak of your nature. Therefore, as soon as we speak of nature, the next inquiry should be whose nature? Nature means energy. As soon as we speak of energy, we must inquire into the source of that energy. For example, if you speak of electrical energy, you must accept its source, the powerhouse. How can you deny it? Electricity does not come to us automatically. Similarly, nature is not working automatically, it is under the control of Krishna.
So Srila
Student.
Prabhupada is telling that people who say that everything comes from nature, but from where nature has come. So that is the fundamental question which Prabhupada says that to ask this is real intelligence. So this is real intelligence when we try to inquire about the source of everything that exists. When we make question about that. Otherwise, if we conclude that nature is all and all, so that is not a proper conclusion. Nature is somebody's energy. And whose energy it is the energy of the Supreme Lord. It is functioning under the direction and supervision of the Supreme Lord. Continue.
Student, in the Vedas, it is said that material energy works under Krishna's direction. Srila Prabhupada, yes, as soon as you speak of energy, there must be a source.
As
The
soon as
Miraj,
we talk about energy, there has to be an energetic. We talk about Shakti. So Shakti indicates the presence of Shaktiman, the person who possesses that energy. So the person who possesses that energy, that is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna, you would like to read next?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The marriage of the material world. Karandhara, geologists study the strata of the Earth's crust to trace out the origin of the Earth. Srila Prabhupada. But these strata are being created and destroyed at every moment. Now they are one way, and from now they'll be different. They are Jagat, always changing. Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 8.4, Adibhutam Sharo Bhava. Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. Therefore, one cannot find out the source of all energy simply by observing the energy itself. Now the earth strata may be black. Later, they may be white and then again black. So the geologists studied the black color, then the white color, again the black, and so on. This is called Punas Charvita Charvananam. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 7, Canto 7, chapter 5, text 30. Now it is called in entire manifesting is changing, but what is the eternity behind this changing? That is the subject of the real knowledge. The scientists do not find that eternity and Mataji, yeah. Where am I? The scientists do not find that eternity and therefore
I think your signals are poor. I'm not able to hear you.
Are disappointed. They everything. Sorry?
No, we are not able to hear you. Your voice is very weak.
Okay.
Surya Prakash, would you like to read
Yes,
next?
Mother. Hare Krishna. Disappointed. They think that the background of everything is void, zero. They think that
Eternity.
eternity is zero. And when they are asked where this zero comes from, they say it comes from nothing. So we must ask them, how have the varieties come about? The Vedic conclusion is that variety is eternal, although the changing varieties the scientists study in the material world are temporary. These varieties are shadow varieties. Real variety exists at eternally in the spiritual world. Dr.
Srila
Singh.
Prabhupada is telling here that actually the scientists may say that this material world, it is not real. This thing is not real. But Prabhupada is telling that actually everything or all the experiences which we are going through, the experiences are temporary, but it does not mean that it is not occurring. So the material world is temporary. And then he's saying that but there is variety in this material world. And the real variety exists eternally in the spiritual world.
Dr.
Continue.
Singh. So the material universe is like a mirage. Srila Prabhupada, yes, suppose I think I see water in the desert when there is not water. This is an illusion. Water exists but not in the mirage. Similarly, the material varieties we see, the varieties of enjoyment, are like that mirage. We, the living entities, are meant for enjoyment, but we are seeking enjoyment in a false place, in an illusion. We are like the desert animals who run after water in a mirage and eventually die of thirst. They cannot relieve their thirst with such illusory water. Similarly, we are trying to manufacture many things to satisfy our thirst for enjoyment, but we are being baffled at every turn because material existence is an illusion. Therefore, real intelligence means to inquire where is the reality, where is the eternal substance behind the illusion. If we can find that out, we can experience real enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
So Srila Prabhupada is making a very important point here. He is telling that we are trying to manufacture many things to satisfy our thirst for enjoyment. So basically, Jiva or living entity by nature, we are all looking for enjoyment. We all want entertainment. Today I was taking class for some teenager boys and girls. So I was asking them that why, like we were discussing something about obedience, and I asked that why don't you obey? Why are you disobedient? And the reply was, ma'am, we want to have fun. So so the teens from that age itself, we are actually constantly looking for fun and enjoyment. So that is our inherent need. And the problem is that no matter how hard we try to have fun, but then as Prabhupada writes here, we are being baffled at every turn because of material existence is an illusion. So whatever we experience here, it is illusory and we are never really happy continuously. So we are baffled, and when we are sufficiently baffled, then we would start questioning that where is the reality? How can I be eternally happy? Yes, Shivdharni.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The fourth morning walk, the progress of the assess. Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is suffering here in the material world, and scientific improvement means the scientists are creating a situation of further suffering. That is all. They are not making improvements. Bhakti Vinod Thakur confirms this by saying, Moha janamiya anitya samshare jivake karaye gadha. By so-called scientific improvements, the scientist has become an ass. Moreover, he is becoming a better and better ass, and nothing more. Suppose that by working very hard like an ass, a person builds a skyscraper. He may engage in a lifelong labor for this, but ultimately he must die. He cannot stay. He will be kicked out of his skyscraper because material life is impermanent. Scientists are constantly doing research, and if you ask them what they are doing, they say, oh, it is for the next generation, for the future. But I say, what about you? What about your skyscraper? If in your next life you are going to be a tree, what will you do with your next generation then? But he is an ass. He does not know that he is going to stand before his skyscraper for 10,000 years. And what about the next generation? If there is no petrol, what will the next generation do? And how will the next generation help him if he is going to be a cat, a dog, or a tree?
Srila Prabhupada is being very straight and hard hitting here. And he's telling that about the scientist. He's talking to the scientist and the research scholar, and they're busy doing the researches. And if you ask them why you are doing, and they tell that we are doing it for the next generation. And Prabhupada is saying, okay, next generation, fine, but what about you? What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing to ensure that in the next life you will not be a cat or a dog or a tree? How are you ensuring that? But these people, they are so busy in Prabhupada's language that they are busy becoming better and better asses, that they are not focusing on themselves and what they can do currently.
The scientists and everyone else should endeavor to achieve freedom from the repetition of birth and death. But instead, everyone is becoming more and more entangled in the cycle of birth and death. Bhavesmin, Shli- uh, Klishyamana.
Krishyamana avidya kam karma bhi.
This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Here is one line the whole material existence is explained. This is literature. This one line is worth thousands of years of research work. It explains how the living entity is taking birth in this world, where he comes from, where he is going, what his activities should be, and many other essential things. The words Bhavesmin, Mataji, can you recite?
Krishyamana
Refers to the struggle for existence. Why does this struggle exist? Because of avidya, ignorance. And what is the nature of that ignorance? Kama karma bihi, being forced to work simply for the senses, or in other words, entanglement in material sense gratification. So is it true that modern scientific research increases the demands of the body because the scientist is ultimately working to gratify his sense? Prabhupada, yes.
Good. So we will stop here. And Prabhupada has confirmed a statement or a question here. So the student is asking that is it true that modern scientific research increases the demands of the body? Because the scientist is ultimately working to gratify his senses. So Prabhupada is confirming that. So today's assignment is that we will write some such examples where these modern discoveries are actually increasing the demands of our body or are providing facilities to gratify our senses in a way which we did not know existed few years back. So how these modern scientific researches are increasing the demands of the body? That is our question for the day, and we will meet on Monday. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.